are in Washington, D.C. with Congressman Johnny Olszewski for an episode of Burn the Talking Points that is going to get at the heart of what is going on in D.C. because, honestly, it's chaos every day, and might as well talk to someone who has to live the chaos every day. But before we start, Congressman, do you remember the name of the podcast?
It is Burn the Talking Points.
So I see we have a few talking points here. I just want to, not to call you out, but...
Well, we don't have a lighter.
Okay.
We're inside.
Okay.
So we can't burn them even if we wanted to. But since you brought it up, we do have talkers. What we're going to do, since we're on the show, we're going to go ahead and rip them up.
Perfect.
We'll put them aside, and we'll just talk.
And one of the reasons we called you during the recess in August, because you've actually been burning the talking points online, at least in our opinion. Your personal account has had some pretty clear and direct opinions, which, in my view, that's where the Democratic Party needs to go. Is like, say what you believe, believe what you say, and just keep moving forward.
Yep.
So having this conversation with you, I think, is going to be really enlightening. So first, you were on August recess. Everyone goes back to their districts for the 30 days.
Yep.
I'm sure you heard from constituents. What was like the number one, number two things you were hearing as people stopped you in the grocery store, at town halls, whatever it might be?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that we're beating the drum on every day. Today is day 243. 243 days where this Congress has done absolutely nothing to lower costs for hardworking Marylanders, for hardworking Americans. And we're now at a place where we're not only not lowering costs, but we're actually seeing costs go up, right? So people are seeing inflation hit the grocery store, even though a court has ruled those tariffs that are causing some of the inflation illegal. They're seeing healthcare stripped away in the big ugly bill. They're seeing food support taken away. They're not seeing job creation and growth. And so, you take that collectively, and people are really saying, like, what is Congress doing? What is this president doing to really make my life better? When the president ran, he said he was going to lower costs on day one. It was one of the most important issues that we talked about on the campaign trail, and people aren't seeing relief. They're seeing instead cover-ups over things like the Epstein files, and a reluctance and an unwillingness to do things like ban stock trading for members of Congress. But overwhelmingly, as I was in the community and talking to constituents, cost of living top of mind for so many of them.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that. We're now post-Labor Day. That's the official kickoff of elections for open seats and competitive seats and things like that. And I think the number one thing we're seeing in Democratic ads, which makes sense, is like cost of living, because you're right. Trump ran on like, I'm going to lower costs. I think he said day one.
Day one.
And you said we're on day 243. Is that right?
That's 243 days Congress has been in session without a single vote.
And
lower.
Congress has not lowered costs. So good work, Republicans in Congress. And just a reminder, who controls Congress right now?
Not just Congress, but the presidency is the Republican Party.
Just double checking on that.
Checking.
So let's talk a little bit about the agenda. You've mentioned two things that I really want to get into, and there are a couple others. Let's start with kind of the main news story that I've been seeing on my social media feed is the Epstein files.
Yep.
What is going on?
So we are back from recess. Before we left, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, actually shut down Congress early because he didn't want Thomas Massie discharge petition, which basically forces a piece of legislation to come out and be up for a vote. But Representative Massie, who's a Republican, filed this discharge petition, which would require a vote on a bill that he and Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California, put in that would really, with obviously exceptions for protecting the names and identities of victims and other sensible redactions, will, if passed, lead to the full release of all the Jeffrey Epstein files. And this is something that President Trump, the right-wing bloggers and media darlings have always said, that Vice President J.D. Vance,
a notoriously straight shooter who never changes his mind.
Correct. But these are people who campaigned on it. These are people who helped. This is an issue that helped propel, frankly, the president to the White House in addition to cost of living.
Yeah.
And you have to ask the question, right? If nothing wrong was done, if there's nothing to hide, why are we fighting so hard? And the Speaker and the President are now affirmatively fighting the Republicans who are trying to sign this petition. So we have, as of the recording right now, 4 Republicans have signed. If we get to 6 and all of the Democrats, which I expect, the discharge petition will be successful. And this bill will come to the floor, and I am confident it has the votes to pass. And that resolution, because it's a House resolution, actually will then lead to the release of the files. So
we need 2 more Republicans.
As of the recording, 2 more Republicans have to sign to have the discharge. And again, Pam Bondi has already said that Trump is affirmatively his own attorney general. You are in the file, sir. Trump is in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
Half of Americans believe that he's complicit in supporting or being a part of Epstein's crimes in an Economist poll. I am sure and I'm confident that there are many other people who are powerful, wealthy, influential, but that's not our job to protect child pedophiles. I mean, what happened is disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's sickening. And the fact that there are people who are not just apologizing for, but actively trying to prevent the release of files that will let the American people know is disgusting.
And I think we're a little through the looking glass on it too, because it's become a political issue when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
The conversation is about how do we prevent this gross miscarriage of justice, this systemic protection of wealthy, powerful people from preying on children. That's the conversation. What it's become is, how do we protect Donald Trump because he's in these files? Whether he did anything or not, we don't know. We haven't seen the files. But the idea that Alex
Acosta raises questions that he's fighting so hard, but
it raises a lot of questions. But his former Alex Acosta, who was in his cabinet the first time around, was the one that did the sweetheart plea deal that James Comer mysteriously left off the witness list when he started to subpoena people, although he subpoenaed Bill and Hillary Clinton, folks. So there's something not adding up, and 2 + 2 is not equaling 4 for me here.
For sure.
So, am I missing something?
No, and for the American people. And if you were to ask my Republican colleagues in confidence, the ones that haven't already had the courage to step forward and do the right thing here, a lot of them would tell you in confidence and in behind the scenes that this is the right thing to do, and they're just bowing to the pressure as they always do, as they have done consistently since this Congress has started. They're bowing to pressure of Donald Trump.
Yeah. Something I bash my head against the wall on is the Republicans in private who know the right thing versus their public actions. Is the political pressure from the White House and Republicans that severe? I mean, it seems legitimately dangerous at times to be a politician, but also a Republican politician if you're on the other side of Donald Trump. He's put a mob after people. Why do these people want to be in Congress if they're not aligned with Donald Trump and they're not getting anything done?
Yeah. I mean, Massey has already said that there are 3 billionaires that he has said, and I've seen no independent validation that he believes are in the files who have started super PACs against him in his home district.
Got it.
Now, whether or not they're just following the president or they're protecting themselves, I don't really know, and I'm not trying to make those accusations, but
I mean, you can if you want.
But what I've seen over and over again, to your point, is this: the people worship at the altar of Donald Trump, who are members of the Republican Party in Congress.
Yeah.
They know that failing to have his support in an election is a death knell to them in a primary, which it's hello, people, wake up. Right? Wake up. And so it's our job, actually, I think, as Democrats, to really sort of force the choice of these members to say, especially in these more competitive seats and states, you have a choice. You can do the right thing and lose because Trump gets mad at you, but you can go to bed knowing that you did the right thing during your service here. Or you can do the wrong thing, look back in shame, and we're going to make sure you lose because you did the wrong thing, because you took away health care, because you failed to stand up against child pedophiles, and
it's a crazy sentence to say. You have to say it. I know, it's crazy that you have to say it.
You lever chaos. I mean, we are living in a world of chaos down here where the powerful, the president, and the privileged rule. And we are trying to change the paradigm by having conversations like this, and also just the direct-to-camera, the going everywhere. Honestly, Fox is one of my favorite places to go, because I can even say, and I'll even say it on a Democratic podcast here, right? There were parts of the big ugly bill that I actually would have voted for as a standalone.
Yeah.
And it's important for your viewers to know that. But it's also important for your viewers to know this balloons the deficit, one of the largest increases in our country's history. This is one of the largest wealth transfers from the working class to billionaires and the ultra wealthy in America's history. Things that Republicans are not typically for, especially the debt growth. So, but having that honest conversation and making sure that the truth is out there.
I mean, that's what Republicans, I think the message from the Republican side has gone out of like, stop talking about the bill as one and start talking about individual components. And like, of course, there's individual components. Every bill that's 1,000 pages has something someone likes, but cuts to Medicaid, cuts to rural hospitals, cuts to SNAP, like, that's just cruel and inhumane.
And could have been avoided. The other things that people like, we could have done as standalone bills. The no tax on tips passed the Senate by unanimous consent.
Yeah. You hit on something that I think actually connects both to how do Democrats move forward, but also something that Congress is looking at right now, and that's members of Congress and stock trading. That is an issue that isn't just online, but it's a pretty hot button issue, especially for younger folks who maybe don't have huge stock portfolios and look around at Congress and see like, oh, this person came into Congress with $1 million and now has 100 million and some really well-timed trades.
Yep.
Impressive. Like, can you talk a little bit about your view on banning stock trading and where you think it should go?
My view is it's wrong, which is why as a member of Congress, I have traded exactly 0 times. It's why I'm on as a co-sponsor of the Trust Act, which would create enforced blind trust so that we could not actively trade. But I would support and vote for and will co-sponsor other pieces of legislation, anything that will pass that gets towards the banning of stock trading by members of Congress.
Because obviously there's like a Democratic version that we prefer. We're not in power right now. So, but if the Republicans are willing to move something forward that gets us 80% of the way there.
Yeah, I mean, even 40, 60, 80, anything that gets us closer to the fact. I mean, the truth is that members of Congress are given top secret security clearances by virtue of becoming a member of Congress.
Yeah.
That alone should be a reason that we are not trading stocks around some of the nation's most secret, sensitive pieces of information.
Yeah.
There's a colleague of mine, I won't mention his name, who has completed over 600...
I'll mention his name because his name is Rob, and he's in Pennsylvania, and his opponent, Paige, just launched, and that's actually really...
Paige is an awesome mayor.
Yeah.
Scrappy Steel Town.
Yep.
I think she's a great candidate. She would make a great member of Congress.
And her launch video, I think, gets at how does the Democratic Party talk about this.
That is part, and that's part of, but it's both like why Congress is broken, why people don't trust Congress, why we don't get things done. If you're so focused on trading stock 600 times in less than a year, you're not focused on doing your job. You're not focused on the people you represent. You're not focused on lowering costs.
People should watch that clip. We'll link it in the show notes, but I think she calls him Helicopter Rob because he has a secret helicopter, which if you're a member of Congress and have a secret helicopter, you've done something right or something.
Yeah, but knowing that we're voting to strip medical coverage for millions of Americans and then dumping medical stock, or, I mean, it just example after example after example of information about where things are going, and look, Democratic members have done this too. Taking information that is going to happen or has happened or is likely to happen based on our position, it is an abuse of power.
Yeah.
And it's legal. Doesn't make it right. So because it's not right, but legal, we should make it illegal.
Yeah.
And it's the only way you stop it.
I mean, and like the corruption laws in this country are so broken. The way that the Supreme Court interprets corruption is bonkers.
They also need their own ethics code, which is a whole other...
I mean, the fact that a congressman was doing insider trading from the White House lawn and then got away with it is insane. Let's talk to something way more hopeful. Federal troops in Baltimore. Just kidding. It's depressing. Lot going great here. But so Donald Trump recently said he's going to send federal troops. I think he said Chicago and then off the cuff said Baltimore. I think it was an off the cuff. We haven't heard that he's actually doing it yet. But like, what are you hearing? What's the response should be from Mayor Scott, from County Executive Klossmeyer? And is it the hellhole he says it is?
It's not. Baltimore's an amazing city, and
you and I both. I live in the city. You live in the county.
And I'm proud over that. I get to represent the city now, which is amazing.
You got the.
I take everything the president says seriously.
Yeah.
Whether it's his threat to cut funding for the Key Bridge or to send in the National Guard to Baltimore or any city around the country. What's interesting is the president is only mentioning cities with democratically elected leadership.
Yeah.
12 out of the top 20 cities with the highest crime rates per capita, the highest homicide rates per capita, are actually in red states. But I'm not hearing a peep out of the president around setting aside the fact that it's wrong, setting aside the fact that it's not helpful, setting aside the fact that it's probably illegal, as has been found by a court regarding...
And it's authoritarian.
Well, I mean, but having the president sort of assume law enforcement activities through a military is an authoritarian act. I mean, it is one of the things that happens and so like on for any number of those reasons, we should be concerned about it, take it seriously, and opposed to it. And so we will be doing whatever we can to partner with the mayor, the county executive, the governor, to push back against the president's threatened, joked about, whatever. But again, I take it seriously because it's problematic, and Baltimore is seeing incredible progress.
Yeah.
Over a 25% reduction in violent crime just this year.
Yeah.
And that's on prior reductions. Homicides are at their lowest rate in like a decade.
I think it's 50 years.
It's crazy how much progress we're making. And look, should we settle for that? Absolutely not. Do we have to do more? For sure.
Yeah.
But, it's also ironic that this president is threatening to take action by sending in the National Guard at a time when he's also actively cutting billions of dollars of federal aid to law enforcement across the country.
I mean, I think the thing that worries me is like the slow creep of authoritarianism is, he sent the federal troops to D.C. We all heard what Mayor Bowser said. Like, we have to acknowledge reality where like there were less carjackings, there were less homicides. Like everyone wants that goal. How we get there is very different. And if we get to the point where he sends in federal troops or National Guard and things get slowly better, he takes them out, they get worse, now he puts them in, or it's this idea like, well, it solved this problem, but now they're going to stay, and now we have a police force that's responsive just to the president of the United States. No matter what's happening, like, I feel like we're being conditioned, and like, it feels insane for me to say that. So I don't know what for you to do with that. I don't know what anyone to do with that. I just need to say out loud, like, it feels a little bit like the president is conditioning us to accept troops in the street, and that scares me. So you're not my congressman, but I'll tell Congressman Mfume that. But
well, I know Congressman Mfume shares that.
Yeah.
And he and I are actually, we talked last night about what a response would be together.
Yeah.
And so we're actively working on that, whether it's legislation, letters, supporting court actions. We're going to do all the things that make sense.
And it seems like the Maryland delegation works incredibly well together, and there's a lot of coordination in a way that maybe not all states have.
People are jealous of this delegation, for sure, because we meet regularly, we talk to each other, we legitimately like each other.
And Team Maryland
we do coordinate, and so, but we also, not just with each other, I want to make sure that we're talking to and working with the governor, the mayor, and to some degree the county executive as well, to make sure that we're all in concert in terms of moving forward.
Let's talk about moving the Democratic Party forward then. Because we're moving Maryland forward, but let's talk the general Democratic Party. You're someone who performs well in blue areas and red areas. Like Baltimore County, for folks that might not know, is like a ring around Baltimore City, and it has the east side, west side. The east side is a lot redder than the west side, but you perform pretty well everywhere. Can you talk a little bit about how you both approach elections, but why you think it, like, is it you specifically that resonates in red areas, and then once you're like, in 30 years, be like, no one can ever replicate? Is it something that others can learn from you? Like, what do you think it is?
I will tell you how we do it, and I'll let other people decide why it works. And
it'd be funny if you're like, nope, no one else can do this.
I think it can be replicated. Unfortunately, I had a front row seat 10 years prior to this 24 election in 2014, where I actually lost an election. I lost by just a few hundred votes at a time when other Democrats were losing by thousands of votes. But we saw the decline in manufacturing. We saw.
And you live on the east side,
I live on the east side, so I think it helps to be able to literally know the people, understand the culture, the history. But you can get to know. If you get to know people and know their history and their background, I think that anyone can resonate in that way. But the Democrats, as a party writ large, were not speaking to people who were losing jobs, who were losing their hope for the future, economic turbulence, as the steel plant shuttered, as manufacturing went away. It wasn't that we weren't fighting for them, but I think we weren't communicating on what was happening and what we were trying to do in response. Because ultimately, I think because of a lot of Democratic efforts, we actually are now seeing an incredible transformation in Southeast Baltimore County. I mean, billions of dollars are being put to work on.
You're talking about like trade
Point Atlantic, like everything from shipping and logistics and manufacturing to a port facility that's coming online. I mean, billions of dollars, tens of thousands of jobs. So the turnaround is happening, but we just lost voters in the same way in the Southeast, in the state, in the same way we lost them nationally, because I think we were not speaking to why things were happening and what we were doing.
Yeah.
Which means, sorry, go ahead.
No, keep going.
I was just saying, so like moving forward, I think it's sort of like a Maslow's hierarchy is the way I look at it, right? I actually think that we're right on any number of issues, but no one wants to really talk about an issue outside of the home if they literally can't put a roof over the head of their family and put food on the table.
Yeah.
Right. So as we think about jobs and housing and food security, pretty basic stuff, we should be spending 80% of our time talking about how we're meeting the needs of, or trying to meet the needs of working families, and how Republicans are literally stripping that away from them so that we can talk about the other issues.
Yeah.
And so it's not to run away from them.
Yeah.
I just feel like we have got to get back to the literal bread and butter of, and that's sort of the working class experience that I grew up with.
Yeah. So I get a lot of, like, the conversations we have when the cameras are off or when we're just sitting around the table as Democrats is like, can economic issues overcome social issues? And I think the answer is yes. I think that's what you're getting at, is we need to talk to the economic base before we can talk about social issues. Mm-hmm. Do you know folks way better than I do? I mean, I've never run for office, and like, thank you for people who do, because it is a very tough thing to do. Do you think folks that maybe you grew up with who have, economic views that align with us, but social issues that don't, would ever pull the lever for a Democrat again?
For sure. I think it's not just what we do, it's how we do it.
Okay.
In my experience, when I was county executive and, just sitting down and talking to people and having them feel heard and a part of I think because we stopped talking to issues they care about, and then I think voters just assumed that we stopped talking to them. And like that party's not for me anymore.
Yeah.
And so we have to be intentional about inviting them back in. Yeah. Like, no, this is a party for you.
Yeah.
And we're here. Let me tell you all the reasons where we're aligned and how this is good for your family.
Yeah.
And let's have a conversation about the other issues.
Yeah.
And
we view as,
and I think even on the social issues, like, you might find more people than not actually are with the Democrats on the issues of choice or IVF. More people than not are certainly going to be with Democrats on issues of gun safety.
I think how we talk about it too matters. And I think that's what you're getting at, is just, like, everyone wants to just be left alone. Mm-hmm. And the Republican Party used to be the party of, like, leave people alone. Now they're in your bedroom a lot more than they've ever been.
Literally.
In a very, like, bizarre and gross way.
Yeah.
I don't think people are necessarily making the logical connection between, like, okay, here's the first policy, but what does that then mean for me? Mm-hmm. And it's that old poem, like, first they came for, but I didn't speak up. Mm-hmm. It does feel like we're on a bit of that creep with the Republican Party where, they're attacking all different groups. They're just going to keep going until they get exactly what they want. Mm-hmm. I'm encouraged to hear you say, though, that you feel like social issues and economic issues don't have to be separate. We can talk about everything, and we can talk. It's just how you approach is going to matter. Yeah. Let me ask about when we take the majority back. And I'm going to say when, even though I'm incredibly superstitious. I'm probably the most superstitious person in Maryland. I don't know if you are Are you superstitious?
Nope.
So, like, when you watch a football game, if you're sitting in a seat and they're doing well, and then you get up and the other team, like, intercepts it, do you then go back to that seat, or you're like, oh, I have nothing to do with that? Are you serious? You're not superstitious at all?
I've really lost a lot of my superstitions.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I'm that way where, like, I watch a game, and if, like...
I used to have some of that.
Okay. How did you get rid of it? For me, it's definitely a mental issue, right?
I think it's really all mental. Yeah.
Okay. We got my daughter, like, a Packers jersey. I'm a Packer fan. Packer owner also, by the way. Sports team owner, kind of a big deal. Brought her, like, a Packers jersey, and they lost the week she wore it. And we're like, we're never wearing that again. Like, I can't do it.
They won again.
Yeah, but it's because she wasn't wearing the jersey. That's why.
Okay.
So, well, all right. So back to my superstitions here. We may or may not win. But when we win in 26, do you think that accountability needs to be one of the main things Democrats focus on? Is that something we dropped the ball when the president in 2020 came, like, holding folks who committed a lot of these atrocities or these crimes, whatever, whether they're high-level or mid-level folks that are enabling this, should we be doing some kind of, like Jamie Raskin talks about, like, keeping a list now and saying like, hey, Paramount, when we're back in power, we're going to be scrutinizing this. Hey, ICE mid-level agents, when we're back in power, we're going to be scrutinizing this? Or is it just like we need to get on to the next thing and show people that we're a serious governing party?
I think
that's probably a false choice.
I think whatever we do, we have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And as Democrats, we have to own our own mess. And I think both parties have gotten into this comfort zone of when I'm in charge, and this is just, and my experience has been very limited, but as I talked to Republicans, they said, well, you guys did this when you were in power, right? But so like take the oversight committee. Yeah. That when one party is in charge, that the oversight committee only investigates issues that are negative to the other party.
Yeah.
And oversight should be like the least partisan of the committees, not the most partisan.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I've been asked, well, what about this investigation into Biden's mental health and whether or not, and I was like, I don't know whether that's true or not. And if they want to investigate that, fine. If the American people and the oversight committee and the chairman want to investigate that, do it. But don't do that while ignoring a $400 million Qatari jet that was gifted to the president without approval of Congress. Cost $1 billion to retrofit, by the way. Don't overlook his cryptocurrency scheme as he's enriching himself and his family through that and real estate deals, selling tickets to the White House in exchange for personal, let's not.
Oh, it's just pure corruption.
I can give you 15 different examples of corruption by this administration. And so, but that's, as Democrats, if we have our own stuff to own, like, sure, look at all the things that like people did wrong.
You just want to see consistency.
We have to. I want to see it, and I think the American people expect it.
Yeah.
I think this is why Congress is in the toilet in terms of its ratings, and I think that's why people don't trust politicians, because we're not consistent. We're picking and choosing, and we have a chance to be different.
Yeah. So I want to end with a game, but I want to ask you a few quick questions first before we end. Is it cool to be in Congress?
Very cool.
What's the
It's
cool
frustrating.
Part? Oh, it has to be frustrating. But do you ever like just take a step back? You're like, oh, I'm one of, I don't know how many, probably a couple thousand people to have ever done this. Like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like, did you think when you were growing up, like, Congress?
No. But I taught it when I was a public school teacher.
Former
teacher.
teacher.
I've gone from, teaching American government classes about Congress to now actually being in it.
Do you ever want to think about going back to some of those students and be like, hey, remember when I taught you that?
No. I've had a couple reach out over the years just throughout the career.
Yeah.
It's been cool to stay in touch. But I
ran into a couple former students in Annapolis that were like interning with lobbyists and things. Oh my God. This is
look at
for
you.
sale.
I get to meet with some of the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
I get to interact with world leaders.
And also members of Congress. Boom.
And also members of Congress.
That was a good joke.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. That you left it out there. That is fair. I got to make it.
And so it's incredibly rewarding. I'm learning a ton. We have access to like the Congressional Research Service and just some of the smartest people, some of the most thoughtful people, folks who are leading companies and businesses that have international implications.
Yeah.
Literally traveling the world, I'm a member of Foreign Service Committee, so learning about issues of Russia and Ukraine and uncertainty in the Middle East and what's happening with Chinese aggression in the Pacific. And it's just like, it's a special thing. And I don't take that for granted. But at the same time, I miss two parts of my prior job as county executive. One was we were able to just get
stuff done. Yeah.
So
that has to be frustrating for you.
It's super frustrating. I mean, we've got so much talent and potential and money and resources that we can put towards our problems and our world's most vexing issues. And we really squander it. We really do. So I miss getting things done, and I miss at least a semblance of bipartisanship. Like, I'm proud to be a Democrat, but I have found that we can find areas of compromise without compromising our core values.
Yeah.
And that's true for Democrats and Republicans. And that was the bread and butter of, we're back to bread and butter. That was really what made the work in Baltimore County special.
Yeah.
It's how we passed police reform. It's how we enacted gun safety legislation. It's how we balanced budgets. It's how we made historic investments in schools and recreation. Just because we sat down both with the public and with our partners, Democrats and Republicans on the council, and said, this is where I want to go as the Democratic leader. How do I help? How do we have a conversation about getting you there? And we did.
Do you find yourself still looking at the headlines about Baltimore County and being like, oh, what's going on there?
For sure.
Turn those notifications
I check them, but my staff is very good about reminding me that I'm not responsible for them in the same way. And so,
You're just, as a constituent, you're checking.
as a constituent, as a representative for and I also check Baltimore City and Carroll County. And if anyone ever wants the insights of a former county executive, I'm happy to give them, but never push them. So,
All right. Last question, then we're going to go into, I'm going to give you a choice of a game or a challenge.
Okay.
30 years from now, what you're on Burn the Talking Points, because it's obviously the most successful podcast that's been out there for 30 years. And the question is asked, what's your career highlight? What do you want to be able to say?
my career highlight is twofold. I'm going to take a little bit of congressional privilege here. One is that people remember me not for any particular thing, but not what I did, but how I did it. And that people feel like we always listened to them, that we were responsive, and that we really tried to solve problems. Like I more than anything, I want to be remembered for how, not what. If there's a what. So if we're going to play like
that's fair. I like how you're doing this.
If there's a what, it is we found a way to put democracy back in the hands of the American people. We really made people feel like whether it's Congress is responsive or it's more reflective, whatever that ends up being, and there are a lot of different policy proposals and issues. We could do probably a whole nother segment on that. But making people feel like they are a part of their democratic process again, at least as it relates to national politics. I think we do a good job, state and local in Maryland. But
that's a good answer. All right, so we normally end with a game, but I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want to do a game or do you want to do a challenge? And I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you pick.
Let's do the game.
Okay, so the game is Congressional District 2. I hear is the best place in Maryland. At least that's what I've been told. So I'm going to ask you some questions, but it's rapid fire.
I couldn't argue against you.
You can't think, just answer. So this is called Can't Think, Just Answer. If you think too long, I'm moving on, and we're going to make up an answer for you.
Close my eyes and try to focus here.
All right. And only Congressional District 2.
Okay.
Best restaurant.
Casas Antimonium.
Best date spot.
Oh, the winery in Carroll County. I'm blanking on its name.
Coolest resident to ever live in the 2nd Congressional District.
Brooks Robinson.
Really? He was second?
I thought he was in Owings Mills.
You would know way better than me. Hidden gem.
It used to be the east side on the water, but I don't. Hidden gem is going to be Hidden gem. You got me.
I'm coming back to it. If you had a mascot for the 2nd Congressional District, what would it be?
Like a flame.
Why?
Second District is on fire, man. We are burning it up from burning talking points. It's a flame.
Signature dish.
Crab cake.
Yeah, I feel like that's a free one. Craziest thing ever yelled at you by a constituent.
Can't say on this recording.
Nicest thing someone's ever yelled at you.
I love you, Johnny O.
There you go. Best parade in the district.
I love Towson's parade. 4th of July is a good one in the district.
Fun.
Yep.
If someone only has 2 hours in the district, what are you telling them to do, including driving time?
Sorry, 2 hours.
They only have 2 hours in the district. What are you telling them to do?
Get some ice cream at Priggles.
For 2 hours?
Yeah, just go walk around the farm, get some ice cream. I don't know. Should have taken the challenge, huh?
If the district
hike on the NCR trail.
If the district had a motto, what would the motto be?
The best is yet to come.
Congressman, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Folks, make sure you continue to tune in to Burn the Talking Points. Couple of reminders. If you want to run for office, mddems.org/run. We have our Talkback Tour. It's going to be coming to the 2nd Congressional District soon. So mddems.org/tour. And also, I have merch. We have new merch. Go to store.mddems.org to check out all the new merch we have. Congressman, thanks again. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.